that the White House and others are trying to push because they simply say that this perhaps would not be good for them in terms of their leadership. However, what the key is to this plan, according to the White House, is that it states simply in there that they think that Arab leaders have simply used the Palestinian-Israeli conflict as an excuse for reforming their own countries, and they say that this can no longer stand. And one thing to note also is that they did have some concessions in here by noting that it's important to solve, if they can, the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. That is something that is very, very important to Arab leaders, particularly because they have been reluctant to at least acknowledge some of these reforms. This is what the White House is hoping that will change. Miles.
Dana Bash, thanks. Kira.
Straight ahead, a hostage ordeal ends and a happy homecoming begins. The former captives tell their story. We've got it ahead on Live From. Olympic athletes on notice for potential drug violations. Will it keep some of them out of Athens? And necessity becomes the mother of invention with the Cub Caboose. It's the cat's meow later on Live From.
You're watching Live From on CNN, the most trusted name in news.
Finger and toe area fungal infections require strong medicine. As a pharmacist, I recommend Fungicure.
Fungicure liquid eliminates fungus around nails with powerful antifungal medicine. Just brush it on. It's clear and dries in a snap. Fungicure, the finger and toe fungi specialist.
Okay, just read the chart.
There it is again!
Want to refinance your mortgage and cash out equity? Get a $395 flat fee home loan from Ditech.com.
Lost another one to Ditech.
Call 1-800-DITECH-1.
Welcome to Saab's 24/24 sales event. It starts with a 24-hour test drive. And if 24 hours are this exhilarating, just imagine what a 24-month lease will feel like. Welcome to the State of Independence and Saab's 24/24 sales event. Test drive a Saab 9.3 sports sedan for 24 hours, then lease it starting at $269 a month for just 24 months. Offer ends June 30th.
I'm Orlin Sidney from the CNN Weather Center, and here's your afternoon forecast. Low pressure across the Rockies will mean thunderstorms in Wyoming and Colorado could bring you some heavy rain. Heavy rains in Texas also continue this afternoon northward into the lower Great Lakes, with scattered activity in the southeast. Tomorrow, this area of low pressure in Wyoming and Colorado could mean some severe thunderstorms, especially for the eastern slopes of the Rockies, continuing down into the Plain States. Warm temperatures, especially in the northeast today, with highs in the 90s.
Attention Medicare recipients. Are your breathing troubles holding you back? Enjoy the freedom of a small compact nebulizer or Med4Home's competitively priced inhalers. To talk about your breathing solutions, call Med4Home at 1-800-210-8781. We'll deliver breathing medications, inhalers, and portable nebulizers right to your door.
Med4Home will even file the Medicare paperwork for you. So call now to speak to a pharmacy consultant. We're standing by to talk to you.
What kind of person would steal a grill? Sick.
Charbroil stainless steel grill, starting at just $3.99. All you have to do now is get rid of your old grill. Charbroil, keepers of the flame.
Today, join CNN for live evening-long coverage of the state funeral as America pays tribute to President Ronald Reagan, followed by a Larry King Live exclusive with George and Barbara Bush. It all starts 4:30 Eastern, CNN Today.
Here's what we're working on tonight for Newsnight as the nation mourns President Reagan. We look at the machinery, the men, the women, the 2 centuries of tradition behind it all. That's Newsnight, CNN Tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern.
In the second week of the Scott Peterson double murder trial, jurors are hearing members of Laci Peterson's family describe how their suspicions grew. CNN's Ted Rowlands is at the courthouse in Redwood City. What do you know, Ted?
Well, Kira, this morning, a cousin of Laci Peterson's testified that he was suspicious from the very beginning of Scott Peterson, and that the night that Laci Peterson was reported missing, he testified that Scott allegedly told him that he had been golfing all day, not fishing. This is the second person to surface that said that Scott had expressed that he had been golfing, not fishing. That, of course, contradicts what he told police. Now, so far, there's been no real bombshell here. The prosecution in day 6 has been just laying out the groundwork, going through the timeline and going through family testimony about the relationship between Scott and Laci. There are some critics that say that they are going too slowly and that they are not presenting enough evidence to this jury early on. This morning, Laci Peterson's family on the way into court, however, did take the time to defend the prosecution's style and the case, saying that in the end the truth will come out in the next few months.
I think they're doing just great. We've got a long way to go here.
Now, the Peterson family also stopped by and said that they believe the truth will come out as well. Their version of the truth, however, is much different than the Roaches. They believe that as time goes by and the months go by, that people will see that Scott Peterson is indeed innocent of the charges against him.
I'm sure everybody saw signs of, you know, some discrepancies in what was in the tabloids and you know, the Globes and the National Enquirers, and people are becoming aware of it now, I do believe, and as this develops, it'll be more and more.
Right now on the stand, a neighbor of the Petersons, Karen Service. This is the woman that found the Peterson dog wandering in the street the day that Laci was reported missing. She is important because the timing will be used by the prosecution of when this dog surfaced wandering the streets. They'll use that to combat defense witnesses that say they saw Laci with the dog walking in the neighborhood. Kara?
Ted Rowlands live from Redwood City. Thanks.
News across America now. A Ronald Reagan holiday in Massachusetts. Governor Mitt Romney visited the former president's remains in California on Tuesday. Afterwards, he shut down state agencies and offices in the Commonwealth on Friday in Reagan's honor. Federal offices and the U.S. stock markets will be closed as well that day. A mother's pain. The mother of Robert Jacobs, the American shot dead in the Saudi Arabian capital Tuesday, says the full impact of the news hasn't hit her just yet. Oma Lee Jacobs of Illinois says it's a family tradition to travel the world. She and her son, she says, knew the risks. Nevertheless, she admits the tragic news came as a complete shock to her.
Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi called it, in his words, a happy conclusion to a tragedy. 3 Italians held hostage more than 8 weeks in Iraq are back in Rome. Alessio Vinci tells us about the mixed emotions of that homecoming.
The former hostages emerged from the plane with broad smiles, but as they reunited with relatives and friends, it seemed to take a second to realize their nightmare was really over. But then the reality of freedom after more than 50 days in captivity set in. I had to believe it, says this relative. I could not think the guys would stay in Iraq and face an unjust end. But it was a bittersweet homecoming. Only 3 out of 4 men who went to Iraq to work as security guards returned home. Fabrizio Quattrocchi was executed after being captured.
The only thing we can imagine is because he had in his pocket a sort of ID card which proved him to be more linked to the coalition forces, and in other words, to be seen as a military guy.
Chevese accompanied the former hostages back to Rome. He says they displayed bravery and courage, recalling an episode involving one of them, Salvatore Stefio, refusing to give his wedding band to one of his captors, who replied with a threat.
Come out, I will kill you outside. And Mr. Stefio replied, no, you're going to kill me in front of the others. You're going to prove me that you want really to kill me.
But before returning to their everyday lives, Italian police whisked the 3 to a waiting helicopter for interrogations by magistrates investigating the abduction and the death of their partner. The hostages released and the recently adopted UN resolution on Iraq couldn't come at a better time for Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi, under pressure here for supporting the US-led war in Iraq. Just days before local and European elections, it is far more than what he could have hoped for. Alessio Vinci, CNN, Rome.
Clearing the air over indecency on the airwaves. The company that aired Howard Stern's show put its money where his mouth was.
There's nothing low about J-Lo when it comes to counting husbands. Number 1 was a waiter. Number 2 was a choreographer. Number 3 is none other than Mark Anthony.
Ah, how do we love J-Lo? Let me count the waves. Just ahead on Live from...
I'm Rhonda Schaffner, New York. The mercury is rising and your electricity...